Welcome to show 78 of the Cloth Diaper podcast. Today's episode is with Laura from the Cloth Nappy Gurus. The Cloth Diaper podcast is a somewhat regular show dedicated to sharing stories about cloth diapering from brands, retailers, and parents around the world. I don't know why I say somewhat regular. I think it's because I've had a little bit of periods where sometimes I forget to edit a podcast, but my inbox is very full, and the only thing that keeps me from releasing more shows is just the time to edit shows. I absolutely hate editing. It's painful, and I've tried hiring a couple of people off Fiverr. It did not go well, and people who are worth the money to edit are outside of my price budget. So that's where we are at today. My name is Bailey. I'm the host of the Cloth Diaper podcast. I've been a cloth diapering parent for a number of years. I've written a book on cloth diapering, The Ultimate Guide to Cloth Diapers, Textiles, and More. And I regularly, sometimes I consult with and support cloth diaper brands in creating social media, strategy, communications content, and anything else they really kind of need. I consider myself a little bit of a Jill of all trades. Today's episode is with Laura from the Cloth Nappy Gurus, and this is an episode that I think everybody is going to love. What I really love about today's episode is I think we can learn a lot from Laura at the Cloth Nappy Gurus. I really love what she's doing with her Nappy Gurus and that kind of model. That said, I haven't really done any more research into it, like how do the Nappy Gurus feel about it? Do they feel taken advantage of? Do they feel all these other things? Do they feel like they're compensated fairly? Those were not conversations that I had, but as we kind of look towards the future of what cloth diapering is going to look like for our industry and for our communities, I really see this need for hyper-local grassroots conversations and this returning of connecting moms to moms, parents to parents, caregivers to caregivers in hyper-local regions, in local regions. Because my wash routine is not just influenced by my water, but influenced by my resources in my community, influenced by my mental health, influenced by all of these things that really are overcome when we get to chat with and see somebody else locally handling cloth diapers. So without further ado, let's head into this conversation with Laura. This was recorded in July of 2021. 2021, wow.
Yeah, hi. So I'm Laura, and I'm the founder of the Nappy Gurus. I actually set up the company in 2008, so been around for quite a bit of time. And I originally set it up, the business was set up with fillyourpants.com, which is the older of the two websites, and then the Nappy Gurus emerged in 2010, I think, originally, and then we relaunched in 2019 with a whole new website and a new team. And so it's been exciting, and now the Nappy Gurus is our leading company and leading brand.
You have a really big team. I was on your website. You have a lot of people helping you behind the scenes. What does that feel like? Did you ever expect your business to get that big?
Oh, no, not at all. It was set up. In fact, I actually got into cloth nappies. My daughter was born in America, so I started using cloth diapers, and I was very much involved in the cloth diaper community, and I just absolutely loved it. I was like, yes, this is amazing. And then when I moved back to the UK, I was like, oh my God, I just really want to bring some of that enthusiasm and passion back with me. And that's what I did. And I set up the business, originally just running from home with my young daughter. And I guess the passion just drove the business as much as I was passionate about the products themselves. And now we've got a team of 14 here at our headquarters, and then we've got just over 20 Nappy Guru team members who are all over the UK, and we've got a couple of international gurus around Europe as well. We're all working really hard together. Great team. Just working hard, making everything reusable and happy in any way that we can.
Yeah, it's I think here in the United States, we're not seeing that big size operation anymore. So when I popped over to your website today and I looked at your team, I was gobstopped. I was like, what? This is huge. So I guess my question is, like, I feel from my perspective here in Canada that the international community, especially in Australia, New Zealand, and the UK for cloth nappies is massive. Is that like, oh, am I getting that right? Is it gaining a lot of mainstream in the UK? Are we seeing a lot of families cloth nappying? What's that kind of look like for you?
Yeah, it's getting there. I mean, it is, it is still niche, as you would expect. But over the past few years, we have seen a new type of parent come into the cloth nappy world, and it is, people are giving them a go. And I agree with you. The UK and Australia, I think, are really sort of leading the way, I think, at the minute, which surprises me with the UK, because we're such a tiny island, and then we've had Brexit, and
I was always like, maybe that's the perception as well. Like, you guys are a tiny island, and so of course there's going to be a lot of people talking about things. But
yeah, but it's the community is great, really, really passionate and really, really supportive. And we've got we as the Nappy Gurus, we work closely with the UK Nappy Alliance, so we're members of that. So, which, I don't know if you're familiar with the Nappy Alliance, but it's a lot of retailers, brands, all coming together, supporting each other for the greater good, that is promoting cloth nappies and helping them to become more mainstream. So we do a lot of political lobbying, reaching out to media, which is really important. And there's no point all trying to reinvent the wheel ourselves. We may as well come together and work together, and that really does happen. And so I think that's really powerful.
I've heard that from a couple of European. I had chatted with Baba and Boo.
Yes,
she mentioned the same thing. And I chatted with Gail from Charlie Banana, and she also really credited the Nappy Alliance for a lot of really important work. And so that's something is happening in my DMs and my conversations right now with American and Canadian brands. How can we bring this back here in North America? Because we don't have a national. The Real Diaper Association kind of collapsed a couple of years ago. And so we don't have anybody lobbying at a national level for Canada or the United States. I definitely can see why that would be advantageous.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, obviously, as I said, like my type of experience began in the USA. And obviously I'm very out of touch with things over that side now. But I'd be interested to sort of have a look into that. I mean, I know, like, some of the companies that I remember when I set up, and the companies that I used to shop with in America, I don't think they're going anymore. And it does seem like it's really changed. It's really changed.
But here I go. I was looking. I accidentally first went to the Nappy Ladies website, and then I was looking at the About page, and I was like, oh, there's no Laura, so I must be on the wrong one. So I pulled up our email again, and I was like, but they've also been around for a long time. And I chat with Bambino Mio, with Laura over at Bambino Mio a lot. They've been around. There's a lot of really old heavy hitters in the UK, which is really great for an industry, because that stabilization is just so important. What has been like one of the biggest changes that you've seen in your cloth nappy experience over the last 13 years, from when you've started your business to where you are now?
There has been a lot of changes. I don't suppose you kind of notice them specifically as it just kind of evolves, but I guess it is quite a different world now. I mean, there are a lot of brands and a lot of range of brands. So as you say, you've got the likes of Bambino Mio and Top Spots, which are huge companies. And then particularly in the last sort of 18 months, really, I guess when COVID started to hit, we've seen a lot of new brands popping up in the market. There's just a lot going on at the minute. And there's like the whole sort of modern styles of nappies, with the muted pastels and the, sort of chic prints and colorways. That's kind of where it's going. And I know sort of back in the day we used to see when a new print came out, it was like, oh my God, space to buy these prints, and then they were being sold on for hundreds of pounds. And that side of it has changed, and we don't see that so much anymore. It has stabilized quite a lot, because I think there is so many brands and so many designs coming out all the time. It's kind of saturated that side of things, which I guess is probably a good thing.
I remember that era. I started cloth diapering in 2015 when the height of the Bum Genius lineup was really, and the Bum Genius rainbow was really prominent. And so I remember seeing all of this kind of happening. I think it's so good, though, for the industry, for motherhood. Like, I got so caught up in that. It was not good for my postpartum anxiety. It was not good for my postpartum shopping. I love seeing this kind of like stabilization and increase of options. But also at the same time, I have a hard time, because when someone comes to me and they're like, what diaper should I try? I'm like, here's a list of 7 brands that are all very similar, and you could just pick any of them and they would work great, which can be very overwhelming to somebody as a new mom or a new parent. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is, as Nappy Gurus, we are completely independent. We're not affiliated with any one brand, and we've got no interest in starting our own brand or anything like that. So we obviously get contacted by all of the new brands that pop up, and you do have to, as much as it's great to support a lot of small and independent brands, we do have to draw a line, and that is mainly, as you say, for the customer's perspective. It's not good to overwhelm. It's cloth nappies is already confusing enough when you start out. You don't need to be bombarded with 50 different one-size pocket nappies. So you do have to strike that balance, and I think that we do that, and that's definitely something that's in my mind all the time, is keeping things fresh and new and exciting, but also not overwhelming.
It's so challenging. I know I consulted with a baby boutique the other day, and she was like, what brand should I bring in? And I'm just like, okay. And it started putting on a different thinking cap and trying to think about stability on who has the best support for her as a retailer, and so many different levels to ensuring that her brand would have success with a nappy brand. What has been kind of your biggest challenge over the last decade as a cloth nappy retailer? Maybe something that you've challenged and overcome, or something that you're still struggling with?
Well, I mean, I don't know how much your listenership will relate to it, but Brexit, a huge challenge for us. So UK has left the European Union, and it does feel like the UK has become quite isolated.
That was a super niche strategy.
Yeah.
But I think people understand too, because I've heard that off from other retailers and other industries that Brexit was a headache and a half.
It's not a good thing. It never was going to be a good thing. So our international sales, that's been a challenge, and that is continued to be a challenge, that because we don't just want to keep shouting out to the same people in the UK. There's so many more people that need our help, and we want to be able to reach them, and that's a real challenge and an ongoing one. And I guess also, going back to the whole getting that balance, there's so many things that we could do, and so many things that I want to do to keep things fresh, and it's also that challenge of to have a focus on accepting that we can't do everything. And I guess that's more of a general sort of business challenge. You want to do everything, and I want to do
everything. I absolutely want to do everything, but I can't. I burn out hard, and you have to sometimes draw a line. So when you think about who you are in the cloth nappy sector, then what's your brand's identity then? What do you want to be, or where do you want to go in 5 years?
Yeah, so I guess our real point is our Nappy Guru team, and that's sort of everything that we are about. So, the team that we've gathered are, we've got such great expertise in real sort of niche areas as well of cloth napping. So if we get a query, we know exactly who it's going to go to, and we know exactly who's going to be able to help. So that's sort of who we are really. And we put a lot of time and effort into our website and making sure that it is as user friendly as possible, and not trying to overwhelm overwhelm people, keeping costs as simple as we can whilst providing the information that people need.
So you have you have the Nappy Gurus has like a set of women, or I guess maybe any parents throughout the UK and Europe, and if somebody comes to you with a struggle, you try to connect them with the parent who might be best suited.
Yeah, we do. So we offer like personalised recommendations. So they're answered by our team. Sort of pre-COVID, a lot of the team were doing a lot of face-to-face outreach and demonstrations, and a lot of our team will work with local council authorities as well in their area. So they might run nappy libraries, working with the council to promote lending kits, and some of them will have cashback and voucher schemes. That's an area that I really want to try to grow more. Obviously, with cutbacks, a lot of the councils went, we're not going to promote cloth nappies anymore, and I'm saying, yes, you are. So that's an area that I put a lot of my time into, and really want to help bring back. I think it's really important.
That sounds so important. I think about so many of the conversations that I've had in North America lately about returning to grassroots kind of conversations and getting back into the communities and getting back to that one-to-one. That is such an incredible model, Laura. To really have that one-to-one connection. There's nothing worse than the other day someone emailed me and I was like, I don't know how to answer your question. So what I did was find another influencer who I knew was in that space. But for you as a brand to be able to connect them and know who to connect them with, and that could be a local person, that is so advantageous, such an incredible need, I think, for that. And probably a sign of why we see so much strength in the UK nappy system.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is important, and it's so valuable.
Motherhood, that first months of motherhood can be very daunting. To be able to get an email from a local mom to be like, well, this is how I solved my problem, or these are a few ideas that might work for us in our region. Like, that would just be so impactful.
Absolutely, and I think although the team haven't been able to do sort of that face-to-face outreach with the COVID situation, obviously, if you think about the parents that have had babies during this time, and they are so isolated, and for them to be able to reach out on a video call or telephone, and our customer service here at HQ, we'll take telephone calls, and the mums just want to chat, and they might want to chat about nappies, but they also want to chat about their babies, and they're stuck at home on their own, and we'll have telephone conversations that go on for an hour. We're here and we want to help, and we will listen. So it is important, and we do our best to help reach out to mums when they need us as much as we can. Yeah,
I know important. Every now and then I feel like I get this question from people on the internet of, why should I even bother shopping with a cloth diaper retailer or a brand directly? And like that's the answer. That's why, because it's another mom on the line, and you never know what's going to happen. And sometimes you just need somebody. And you need somebody besides your best friend. You need somebody who maybe is a little bit different and can help listen. And I hear this story so many times from brands. You're not the only one. And I love it every single time. It makes me all watery. It makes me all watery. Always. I know. And so if people are ever like, why should I shop with the Nappy Gurus? That's why. I think this is a great time to kind of go into my next question. I kind of thrown some questions about you in the business world, because a lot of my listeners are business related. And a lot of times I do kind of want to strengthen this business in North America. And I think that the UK and I think that New Zealand are doing great jobs. So I thought I would pick your brain and ask you, what type of advice do you have for somebody starting their own cloth diaper business or retailer today, from somebody who's got 10 years worth of experience in this industry? What would you tell them?
Yeah, I mean, I guess my advice now would possibly look a little bit different to maybe 2 years ago, because there is, and I don't know if this is the case the case in America and Canada, I'm not sure. But as I said, there has been such a huge surge of new brands and retailers into the market, and which is great. But I know that a lot of them are going to end up getting lost and won't succeed. So I guess my advice now would be to really think about what the difference is with the product or with the brand, and reaching out, like really thinking about how you're going to reach people and connecting with the rest of the existing cloth nappy community, because I do think a lot of them are going to get lost, which would be a shame.
I was going to say that everybody who comes into the market, they all have their own special opportunity to connect with a section of the consumers that somebody else can't connect with. I think every blogger who comes in, they're going to be able to connect with people who don't like me, who don't like my voice. But if they keep going after people who do like me and my voice, nobody wins in that situation. So they really need to find that new blogger or that new brand. They really need to find out what their voice is and who the right person is and identify that. And that will help strengthen us together as a core. I think that is kind of what I grasp. And then I do worry that a lot of people are going to get lost if they spend too much time chasing the same people that we're all chasing, and they don't spend enough time finding the new demographic of cloth parents that absolutely. They have the unique position to get because of who they are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we feel that ourselves. Sometimes on social media platforms like Instagram, sometimes it's like shouting into an echo chamber because you're telling all the same people how to use cloth nappies, and they're using cloth nappies, and you do. I have to bring myself back sometimes because I love it. I love that side of it. I love the marketing side of it and social media. I really, really enjoy it, but I have to bring myself in sometimes to think, right, okay, let's really think about what the strategy is here, and making sure that we're reaching those new people and how we can best do that in the best way. Yeah, that's been like them.
I consulted with somebody the other day, and it was just like, how do we get those new people? I feel like I'm shouting into a void. I'm like, we're all saying the exact same thing together. Are we actually getting though? Like, am I getting the right people for this? Yeah, it can be really challenging, which is why I'm so in awe of kind of what you had chatted about earlier about your Nappy Gurus and them having library banks and getting in the community and doing political, that is so awesome, and something that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to prioritize. I'm looking at going to conferences more, and I'm looking at getting at the farmers market more and getting off the gram, focusing more time off social media so that I can find those new people. But it can feel very overwhelming sometimes because you're like, the gram is so easy. But
it's all back down to balance again, isn't it? It's doing those things, but it's also doing other things, but also trying to not try to do everything.
You're right.
This is not easy. Yeah, it's there's a lot going on, and you do have to juggle a lot of different things. And I guess my advice to anybody looking to join the market is to understand that it's not easy, and it does take a lot of time, a lot of hard work. And I've got 2 children, and my children are older now, but I do look back and I think, I started the business so that I could be at home with my babies and do this alongside. And then I look back and I think, actually, that really didn't happen at all. I had my second child, my son was here in the office in his baby sling as I was running around trying to do everything. And I guess I did probably miss out on time with my children because this became such a beast. And my third baby. And I guess you have to be prepared for that. You have to be prepared you're going to have to put that time and work in if you want to get something out of it, really.
Yeah, I see that
I see that a lot. Definitely some of the brands who are putting a lot of time and work in, they get a lot of the outcome, but what do you lose? What do you sacrifice as a result of that? I even like bloggers who look up to me at where I'm at. Well, my kids are now 4 and 6 and they're in school. And so I get to dedicate time that I never had before to this. And sometimes making sure that you're in check with what your actual life situation is versus somebody who's 10 years ahead of you and has all their kids in school and has different time, and your brain doesn't feel like it's in postpartum fog anymore, and you can put together pieces like you couldn't before. Don't compare yourself to where others are at.
Absolutely. That is great advice.
Yes, we definitely have a lot of the same trends about what some of the things that you've mentioned here happening in the UK that are happening in Canada and the US. We'd have the same resurgence. We have a growing number of new brands coming to the market since the pandemic started. Did the pandemic help your business out? Did you find that you had a surge in nappy use? A lot of people say they did.
It was crazy. And we, when lockdown hit initially, all the staff were at home, and I was coming in with my children were packing orders, my partner was packing orders. We were just trying, because not only did all the staff have to go home, like you said, we saw this huge surge in demand. You know, the supermarket shelves were cleared of nappies, of disposable nappies, and a lot of people were looking to start with reusables, and we only had, we had our warehouse full of stock, but nobody saw it coming, so we only had what we had.
How are you going to predict a global pandemic?
I know, how do you predict that? So the March and April, I mean, our warehouse was stripped, cleared, and the orders were packed by me and my children and my partner. So that was a really, really crazy time. But then, we went for a period where we couldn't restock on a lot of the lines straight away because everything shut down. So, it was just really strange times. And, obviously we have seen that steady out now, and orders have steadied, and we've been able to gauge the demand and level that out. But yeah, I mean, the business did grow. Ultimately, it did grow, and yeah, I mean, we're looking at moving to a new premises now because we have completely outgrown. My warehouse supervisor came up earlier and he said, "We've had this delivery, and I just don't know where I'm going to put it." I'm like, I don't know. Just bear with me, I'll sort it out. But yeah, again, it's just evolution, and you just have to adapt and just take things as they come, and that's what we've had to do, and we'll continue to do that with whatever comes our way. But
yeah, hopefully we don't get a big, maybe for the diaper industry it would be a win, but hopefully we don't have to deal with a lockdown again. Are you guys out of lockdowns?
We have literally, as of 3 days ago, restrictions eased, but fully expecting it to go back probably in winter months because COVID rates are still soaring and crazy here, and we just can't seem to get a grip on it. So not
frustrating.
Yeah.
We've just gone a whole month without a single case in my region, so I'm feeling pretty safe. Maybe is the right word.
That's amazing. That's great. Well done.
But always anxious, like if the US border opens, there's all these things that you can't control, or something could happen. And making sure that you're like being able to adapt again is sometimes always on top of mind. Well, we've been chatting for about our half hour here, Laura. It was fantastic chatting with you. Did you have anything else to add? Where can we find you? That might be my last question. Where can people, if they want to shop with the Nappy Gurus, where do you ship, and where can we find you on the internet?
Yes, so we do ship internationally. We can be found at thenappygurus.com is our website where you can order, and then obviously we have a presence on social media, on Instagram at the Nappy Gurus, Facebook at Nappy Gurus. We have a great Facebook community in our Facebook group, the Nappy Gurus Place, and YouTube as well. We have an active YouTube channel, so a lot of our team will film product reviews on there, and really good helpful insights into, what the nappies look like inside and, all the nitty gritty. So yeah, we value the video content really, and we put a lot of that on the website as well. So if somebody comes across a nappy and they want more information, there is a video guide there, so they can have a quick look and see everything going on.
Cool. That's really helpful, a YouTube channel, because sometimes, like, especially if you're a new mom who can't meet up with a mom, pictures are not enough. No, you really need to like see what is going on to understand.
You do. So,
awesome. Yeah. And you guys carry, it looks like here, a wide array of products. We're not just talking nappies at the Nappy Gurus. We got eco periods, eco living clothing. So you could just go shopping and fill it up to your heart's content. You could buy everything for yourself. You don't even have to worry about your baby.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, chocolate is actually one of our best sellers. People need a nappy and they'll stick in a chocolate bar with it. Because why not?
Because why not? Exactly. I would do that. I think one of my favorite retailers, she started selling like little candies as well. It was like a great way to get to your free shipping threshold and get some sweets in there. Absolutely. Well, it was super great chatting with you, Laura, getting your perspective about what's going on with you and your business. I really like these opportunities to learn because I think that, yeah, as a community, there's a lot of things that I watch you guys doing in the UK that are so amazing. And if I could start my own business, I would, with your model. Like, that is just incredible. I love those. I love that guru model. Like, I love connecting people one-on-one. And I really hope that other people, other businesses could really embrace that. I think it's such a win for moms. And thanks for making me tear up today. And I hope that you have a good afternoon.
Re-listening to the show in the edit, I'm thinking maybe it's time I rebrand the Cloth Diaper podcast. So many of these conversations with brands and retailers have been less about their story and more about their business experience. How are they thriving, striving, and surviving in a global pandemic or in a cutthroat world? Why is it that the cloth community is cutthroat? I have thoughts on that, but those thoughts I will keep to myself and not publish on a big national podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Cloth Diaper podcast. I know that these episodes like this were a little bit less about empowering you to cloth diaper and a little more about maybe running a business and cloth diaper businessing all together. But I never know where you guys are at. Some of you listening to the show, you might be moms who had businesses before, or you might be moms looking to start a new business. The cloth diaper industry is such a weird niche, and we can learn from each other whether or not we're going to be opening our own fitness studio or we're thinking about starting our own retail shop. There's so much potential right now for community-based cloth diapering. I think I've said that so much. If you think you could host a course at your library, if you think that you could reach out to a local midwife, if you think that you could show up at the farmer's market and host a table for your diaper bank near you, then you should do those. I want everybody listening to this show to know that the information and the knowledge that they have is worthy and that they are capable of sharing what they know. Which is funny because I have so much imposter syndrome, it's not even funny. But thank you so much for joining me today on the Cloth Diaper podcast, and I will go see you on Instagram.